Hello and welcome to week 10 of the course EU Security and the Future of NATO. In the previous weeks, you explored NATO enlargement, defense spending, and the future of transatlantic relations. This week, you will examine NATO crisis interventions and global security operations conducted beyond the traditional territorial defense of the alliance. Since the end of the Cold War, NATO has increasingly participated in international missions designed to stabilize conflict regions, support peacekeeping operations, and respond to humanitarian crises. Understanding these operations will help you analyze how military alliances respond to global security challenges and how international interventions shape geopolitical stability. During the Cold War, NATO's primary mission was the defense of its member states against external threats. However, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, NATO began to expand its role into crisis management and international security operations. These operations include missions aimed at stabilizing conflict regions, supporting peacekeeping initiatives, and protecting civilian populations. Examples include NATO interventions in Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Libya, which illustrate how the alliance operates in complex geopolitical environments. As you examine these cases, you should consider both the strategic objectives and the political controversies associated with international military interventions. This week introduces several key concepts that will help you analyze NATO crisis interventions. One important concept is crisis intervention, which refers to military or political actions taken to stabilize conflict situations. You will also examine peacekeeping operations, which are missions designed to maintain stability and prevent the escalation of conflicts. Another important concept is humanitarian intervention, which refers to the use of military force to prevent human rights violations or protect civilian populations. These concepts are often connected to the principle of responsibility to protect, which emphasizes the international community's responsibility to prevent mass atrocities. As you review the course materials, you should reflect on how these principles influence international security policy. During this week, you will complete several learning activities designed to help you analyze NATO's role in international crisis management. First, you should review the lecture materials and assigned readings, which examine the strategic objectives and political debates surrounding NATO interventions. Next, you will participate in the discussion forum, where you will evaluate the legitimacy and effectiveness of international military interventions. You will also complete a short self-assessment quiz, which will help you review the key concepts introduced in this week's module. Finally, you will complete a weekly analytical project, where you will analyze the strategic implications of NATO crisis operations. This week also includes an interactive analytical activity. In this activity, you will examine several NATO crisis interventions and analyze their strategic objectives and outcomes. You will explore how NATO coordinates military operations with international organizations such as the United Nations and the European Union. As you complete this activity, you should evaluate how military interventions influence regional stability and how international institutions cooperate in crisis situations. In the discussion forum, you will analyze the following question. Are international military interventions justified in order to prevent humanitarian crises? When writing your response, you should support your argument using examples from the readings or case studies introduced in this week's module. Your initial post should present a clear analytical perspective, and you should also respond constructively to at least 2 contributions from your classmates. The discussion forum will allow you to explore the ethical and strategic debates surrounding international military interventions. At the end of the weekly module, you will complete a short quiz designed to help you review the key concepts introduced this week. The quiz will focus on topics such as NATO crisis intervention missions, peacekeeping operations, humanitarian intervention, and the responsibility to protect. Completing the quiz will help you reinforce your understanding before moving to the next module. Your weekly project will focus on analyzing the effectiveness of NATO crisis interventions. You may choose the format that best demonstrates your understanding of the topic. For example, you may submit a policy analysis essay, a short video explanation, a podcast commentary, an infographic, or a narrated presentation. Regardless of the format you choose, your project should demonstrate critical analysis and engagement with the key concepts introduced this week. To guide your work, please consult the assessment rubric available in the course platform. The rubric explains how your project will be evaluated, focusing on conceptual understanding, analytical reasoning, use of evidence, clarity of communication, Using the rubric while preparing your project will help you produce a strong and well-structured submission. Week 10 provides an opportunity to analyze how military alliances respond to international crises and how intervention policies shape global security governance. As you work through the materials this week, you should think critically about the political, strategic, and ethical dimensions of international military interventions. Your analysis this week will prepare you for the upcoming modules where you will examine European security missions and the future of NATO and international security cooperation. I look forward to seeing your ideas in the discussion forum and your analytical projects in the weekly assignment. Good luck with your work this week.